Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And y'all know that we are doing it big up here on Who's That Cosplayer? Well, not big, I'll say spooky, because we are in the spooky season right now. And I brought into you guys somebody that is really awesome, somebody that I've been talking with on Instagram about JoJo, other anime, and they came up here as my favorite Joe star. Like before the interview started, your boy was marking out, and that is Auracoser. Aura, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, but before I get into this interview, I just got to let everybody know, because I already know the secret, but I want Aura to tell everybody, or tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Australia, so other side of the world to most of people. But yeah, no. Hi from Australia. Hi from down under.
From Australia, y'all. It's just like this year, I have interviewed people from Scotland, the UK, Croatia, now Australia. Like, yo, this is Who's That Cosplayer worldwide. Call me Pitbull, because that's what Pitbull says. He said I'm Mr. Worldwide. But no, for real, Aura, thank you so much for joining me up here, especially for the spooky season and whatnot. Are you ready to get into this interview?
I definitely am. Thank you so much for having me as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview. So Aura, the first question that I ask each and every guest up here is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who you are.
Right. Well, so I've kind of always been on the sidelines watching in on cosplay, and I only really got into anime when I was really young, but even then it was just like a few different series that are kind of niche. And it was only when I got into middle school that I met my then best friend, and she like opened my eyes to the whole world of anime, and I got into so many different series that I'm still into to this day. I found all the different things that I liked, and cosplay was definitely a part of it that interested me a lot. But she wasn't that much of a fan of cosplay, which, like, fair enough, it's not for everyone, but I was still like on the sidelines peeking in when TikTok was still Musically. I was following all the cosplayers then, and yeah, really thought about getting into it, but never quite had the confidence or that push. So it was only like last year that one of the local cons at my city decided that they were coming up around the same last month, but last year. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all out. I'm going to buy a cosplay. I'm going to see how it is, trial it. And it was the best choice I ever made, man. Like, the confidence it gave me just getting into makeup, costuming, wig styling. Oh my gosh, it was definitely the best thing ever.
Hey, that is an awesome origin story. And I love how, it was like I was just always creeping. I was looking, and
Yeah.
I wanted to get into it, and bam, I finally got into it. And I think that it's awesome that you really got into it last year. And, just the amount of cosplays that you've done, especially, from one JoJo lover to another JoJo lover. I love all the JoJo cosplays that you've done, but you've also done other cosplays from other series as well. And we're definitely going to talk about the JoJo stuff as this interview goes on. But now I want to ask you, like, what was it like going to your first con? Or have you been to your, oh yeah, you already said, I'm sorry about that. Had a brain fart. But like, how was that experience for you?
It was like really unlike anything I'd ever done before, especially going all in and cosplaying the very first time. It was definitely nerve-wracking, but like, I'm really lucky. I have really supportive parents. And so my dad was like, hey, look, I'll come with you. Like, you don't need to worry about it. And getting there was amazing. The first people that I actually walked past were like, hey, I love your cosplay. And that immediately made such a big difference. And I was so new to like the cosplay world. So seeing how cool everyone looked and how friendly everyone was, it was so amazing. And of course, you have people that are like, oh, I love your cosplay. What's your handle? And it's like, I didn't have Instagram at all for anything besides personal stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I really got to get into this because I really want to connect with people. And my city is kind of small, so it was really nice to actually find local people that are some like great friends of mine now. So yeah.
That's awesome. So look, right, I don't know if anybody's ever asked you this yet, but you know, you're cosplaying as Josuke. You just said that your dad went to a con with you. Is there any possibility that your dad will cosplay as Old Man Joseph?
Look, I've been trying to get him into JoJo's. I'm like, you have to watch it with me because I've seen all these other cosplayers that got their dad to do like Jotaro, and I'm like, that is the best thing ever. I really want to do that. So hopefully one day, definitely one day.
Hey, yeah, Jolene and Jotaro, Josuke and Joseph. Yeah, I mean, like the possibilities are endless. And you know, I think it's awesome that you said that you had supportive parents who supported you and wanted to take this jump into cosplay, because I mean, you hear, you know, different stories from different people all the time where it's just like sometimes the parents aren't supportive, but I always love hearing when parents are supportive of the things that their kids are interested in. I mean, the same thing happened with me when it came to professional wrestling. My mom, like, she was very supportive of me when I said, hey, I want to be a wrestler. And it's like, I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but and everybody's finally, they're hearing this on Who's That Cosplayer, but my mom, she bought me my wrestling boots, and like wrestling boots are super expensive. I mean, like they cost just as much as like some cosplays do. And you know, I've been wrestling now for 11 years, but she bought me my first pair of boots, and I still have those boots. Like wrestling boots hold up pretty well if you take care of them. I mean, there's some people that don't, but anyway, back to you. So you, like I said, you've done so many JoJo cosplays. I gotta ask you, give me your top three. Like, what are your top three favorite JoJo cosplays you've done?
Well, recently I tried on my Bruno again. And I really fell in love with him because he was like a cosplay that I never thought I'd do. And the first couple times I cosplayed him, I wasn't really feeling it, but I decided to give him one last chance, and I fell in love with doing him again. Just especially because a year later, my makeup skills I feel have improved so much. So it's definitely gives you that boost of confidence when you redo a cosplay that you didn't quite like before, and now you like really like it. So probably Bruno for one, definitely. And then it would have to be like Josuke and then Polnareff, because same similar reason, like I did the wig styling for both of them. So it was a big push out of my comfort zone. So cosplaying these characters where like I hadn't cosplayed with Polnareff, I don't think I'd cosplayed a guy before then.
Yeah.
So like having that different experience, and then the challenge of the wigs, and I sewed Polnareff's his top myself, so I was doing everything, seeing how much I could really, how much of an experience I could make these cosplays, and it was, yeah, so definitely Josuke and Polnareff are my other two favorites.
That's awesome. And like your Polnareff is really good. One of the cool things, and I'll probably say hard things about Polnareff, and I'm going to touch back on this, is his hair. And you know, to hear that you styled the wig yourself, and then same thing with Josuke, like I feel like both of those are really challenging. So like how long does it usually take you to, and there's Polnareff there, but how long does it usually take you to style your wigs?
It really depends how much needs to be styled, but like once I decide on a character, I kind of commit for a solid week, and it's whenever I get spare time, it's usually spent doing that character. But for Polnareff, it took about 5 days, I would say, in total. I was just experimenting with so much stuff like foam, different like types of sewing in the wig wefts or gluing them on. But in Josuke, I smashed them out in like 3 days. So I was very proud of myself.
Nice. So now I want to ask you, what is some advice that you would give to somebody, like as somebody being me and other people, you know, to how to style wigs? Like what's some solid advice that you can give?
Don't be afraid to like ask other cosplayers that you admire or have done similar projects before. Definitely go out there and look up tutorials, experiment if you have the like ability to do that. I kind of jumped into the deep end with Polnareff and Josuke, my first two big styling projects. But if you're not too sure, I reckon just try out styling simple things like spikes, or even begin to learn how to do false hairlines if that's your thing. Start small if you don't feel too confident, and work your way up. You don't have to go big and like put all your money into it, all your time into it. You can go at your own pace with how much money you want to spend on it, how much time, how much effort. That's my advice. Yeah.
And that's some solid advice because I mean, I know when I did my Rengoku, I had got the wig and I was just like, man, I want to style this wig myself. But then at the same time, I was afraid because I was just like, man, if I mess this thing up, then I'm going to have to buy another Rengoku wig. But now that I do have a Rengoku wig and my friend, they styled it for me, I do want to, you know, try my own hand at it and see what I can do because it's like I've seen so many videos and tutorials online about like fluffing hair and all that stuff. And I do want to experiment with it. So thank you so much for giving that advice. And now I want to, you know, move to some more JoJo stuff. Which part is your favorite part?
It has to be part 4. I know a lot of people debate this and they're like, oh, it doesn't fit the JoJo vibe. But to me, I think it's the most JoJo-esque part because it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And that slice of life, it's a nice break from like what part 3 was. And even with part 2 and part 1, it's kind of slower paced, but the characters are so lovable. You can't not have a special place in your heart for part 4.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And the thing is with part 4, like you said, it's like part 1 through 3, it was world domination. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to take over the world. Part 4 is just a guy that's just trying to live a quiet life. Same, I mean, like part 5 is the same way. It's a guy that doesn't want anybody to know anything about his identity or his past. And then part 6, I mean, Poochie doesn't want to take over the world, but he wants people to know everything before they die, which at the same time it's like he still wants to take out the Joestar. So yeah. But yeah, no, part 4, it's a solid part. It's my favorite part too. So now I gotta ask you, which Joestar is your favorite Joestar?
Well, I feel like I always say Joseph, but specifically part 3 Joseph, just because he's really a great comic relief character. But I don't know, Josuke is creeping up the list again. I think he might be becoming my favorite because he's so fun, and even cosplaying him, you get to appreciate the character that you cosplay a lot. So yeah, solid ranking to Josuke there, I think, today. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a good choice. And to piggyback off what you just said about Old Man Joseph, y'all can check out our interview with Richard Epcar. It is up here on YouTube, or if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to it over there as well. I always got to do the shout out. So yeah, now I got to ask you, which villain is your favorite villain from JoJo?
It changes every time, I think, but it'll probably have to go hand in hand with like the part 4 vibes here, because Akira is such a unique villain.
Yep.
And I feel like everyone says that, but it's true. There's something about him that other villains don't quite have. The fact that he's kind of just an ordinary guy. And like you said, not after world domination. And yes, I love your Akira cosplay so much. I love the Bites the Dust one. So good.
Who's that cosplayer?
Sakura Nagamasa.
I got to restyle this wig. Hold on. Hold on, there we go. All right, cool. There we go.
I'm so impressed with that wig, by the way. Like, I thought about doing him myself, but the hair is just such a challenge.
There we go. All right, cool. Now we go. Now it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got Josuke and now we got Kira. You know, I just don't got the suit on. But thank you so much. Like, this is actually the first wig that I've ever styled. And I need to redo it because I left it in the car and it got messed up. But I will say that I use pipe cleaners for the black part in the hair, and then I just bought the wig and then I put hair gel in it, slicked it back and whatnot, and like it's a hot mess now. But you were talking about Kira, your Josuke. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna be Kira. Let's do it.
I love your Kira, and I also love your Jotaro, by the way. All your JoJo cosplays are so amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You know, from one JoJo cosplayer to another, like your cosplays are amazing too. And that's why I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because it's like everybody that cosplays from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, they look so good in their cosplays because they're, for real, they're just like normal clothes for real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And all of the outfits from JoJo are very stylish, you know? So that's why I love it. But I will say that I did wear my Jotaro Part 4 to a convenience store in the hood one time, and people thought that I was a pimp. So because it's like I got a white trench coat and the purple
It's
and
stylish though.
yeah, it is stylish. My grandma
Yeah.
saw it for the first time. She thought I was a pastor. And I was like, Grandma, I said, my name is Jojo, and I'm going on a bizarre adventure for the Lord Himself. So yes.
Yeah.
So moving along, final JoJo question: if you had your own stand, what would the stand's name be, and what would the stand's ability be?
I've had a bit of a think about this actually, because it's just having people's ideas and hearing what other people say is so interesting. But I'm Australian, as I said, and I love Greece. So as you might know, the main character in that is played by Olivia Newton-John, who is Australian as well. And when it comes to anime and stuff, I like to think of myself as kind of a hopeless romantic. Like, you find a character you love and you're like, yes, absolutely adore them. So I'd probably say it'd be like, my stand would probably be called something like Devoted to You, and kind of similar to what I think it was Violet Blossom's cause that you interviewed. And they said something about how their stand would like take on the appearance of other stands. And I was thinking that'd be really cool, but the twist would be like, you can't have their abilities, you can just have their appearance. And it'd be a stand also based on emotion. So if you feel really fired up, it's going to be like a flame stand like Magician's Red. Or if it was something love related, it could be like Love Deluxe or something insane like that. So yeah.
Hold on real quick. If it's Love Deluxe, does that mean it's just going to be hair? It's just going to be some hair. Just my God.
Be. It's up to interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and I love the fact that you mentioned Violet Blossom. Y'all can check out their interview too. It is up here on YouTube. I'll say that when it comes to JoJo cosplayers picking their stands, the most bizarre one that ever happened, it was Avino and J. Joestar. And I had interviewed Avino a while back, and then I interviewed J. Joestar a little bit after them, and they both literally said the same thing for their stand. They said the same name and the same stand ability, and I was just like, Jay, did you watch Avino? And they was just like, no, I didn't. And I was just like,
wow,
that is insane. But I always say stand users are drawn to each other. It's the truth. Like, people, they don't want to believe that. So I love your stand's name, and I love the stand's ability. So yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So we are getting close to the end of the interview, and I got to ask the spooky season questions. And the first one I'm going to ask you is, what is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Of all time? That's a big question. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I've seen so many that you kind of have to love them all, but it's not really a horror movie, but it's been getting a lot of traction again lately with TikTok and stuff. But Coraline is really good.
Ooh,
very
nice
unique.
choice. Nice choice.
Do you have a favorite?
Oh yeah, of course. My favorite horror movie is The Thing. Like, that'll always be my favorite. Ooh. Yeah, I love that movie so much. But I love the fact that you just mentioned Coraline, because a couple of weeks ago, me and my friend, we went to a horror convention, and this was their first horror con. And they wanted to do Coraline because that was, I mean, like, they have like Has-Been Hotel and stuff like that, but Coraline is one of their favorite horror movies. So I was just like, well, if you're going to do Coraline, I'll be Other Father. And we went to the con as both of them, and like, people was just like, oh wow, like, you don't always see Other Father with a Coraline and whatnot. So I think that's awesome that you said Coraline was your favorite horror movie. So I mean, is there a Coraline cosplay that you may do in the future?
I've definitely thought about it. Yeah, maybe like the Other Mother, because I'm getting into more special effects lately. So it'd definitely be a bit of a challenge, and I'd love to test myself and see what I can do to get that like horror-esque look and everything. So yeah.
Awesome. I think that's a good choice, and I'll send you the link so that way that you can get the button eyes, because they do sell those on Amazon. Like, that's what I did for Other Father. And they're easy to see through too. Like, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to see. But now moving along, final horror question, and this is the final question, and we wrapping this thing up. So something that my co-host Rebellious D always asks our guests on our podcast is, what is something that spooked you as a child and it has carried with you till this day. It could be, you know, being outside and, you know, thinking that Michael Myers is behind the bush, but he really isn't. Or, you know, you hearing a weird sound at your aunt or uncle's house and you're the only one in the house. Like, what story do you got for me?
Oh, well, my family, my mom particularly, is a big horror fan. So I got into horror movies a lot with her as a child. And it's carried through till this day as well, because still love horror. But, you know, you'd see every little thing in a horror movie as a child. You'd probably latch onto that and fill your imagination with like what's in the shadows. So kind of just, I think every now and again, whenever you watch a horror movie and you go to bed and you make the bad decision of watching it late at night, you always lay there and try and close your eyes and you have those images in your head still, and it keeps you up, tossing and turning. So I definitely think like the what if of what's in the shadows at nighttime is definitely, that's carried through for sure. And I think the same could be said for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, I love that. And honestly, it's crazy because as an adult, like I'll watch a horror movie before I go to bed and I'll be completely fine. But yeah, as a kid, like those nightmares, oh my God. I mean, there's so many where it's like I will watch a horror movie late at night and I'm like, why? Like even the first Resident Evil movie, like I remember I watched that late at night one time and I was having nightmares that zombies were coming after me. So curse you.
Sticks with you.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine if somebody watched Snakes on a Plane. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I haven't. No.
I mean, it's considered horror, but Samuel L. Jackson is in it. I'm pretty sure you've heard the line or you've seen the video of Samuel L. Jackson on a plane saying, "Enough is enough. I'm tired of these mother effing snakes on this mother effing plane." Have you seen that before? Yeah, so that's where it's from. But can you imagine like somebody like, I'm on a plane with snakes and they're trying to kill me? Oh my God, it's great. But okay, I got a good horror story to wrap this thing up. But since I just mentioned that, when I was in elementary school, Leprechaun 2 had just came out. And there was this girl whose sister had showed them the first Leprechaun movie. And when she came to school on St. Patrick's Day, like she was afraid of every Leprechaun thing that was on the wall. For lunch that day, they had taco salad, right? And the taco bowls were they had green food coloring, so they were green. And she was like, "If I eat it, I'm gonna die. The leprechaun is trying to kill." Like her mom ended up coming up to the school and picking her up because like she was just freaked out by everything. But you know, because you just told that story, it reminded me of that. So with that being said, Aura, thank you so much for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer. It was awesome talking to you, and it was awesome getting solid advice, and it was awesome putting on the Kira wig and being up here with Josuke. You know,
yes, thank you so much for this, and you're such great energy, and I admire your work so much. So it's a big honor to be on here and chatting with you, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
Yeah, so it's Auracoser on pretty much everything, and I'm gonna hopefully be doing a Twitch streaming very shortly, so look out for that if you're interested. But yeah, just Auracoser on everything.
Awesome. Hey, y'all make sure that y'all follow Aura on all of their social media accounts. Y'all already know where you can find your boy Yoshi Kage Banks at King Benji _Banks on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. So with that being said, keep that pinky up. Stay safe this spooky season. Stay positive, and we'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.